In today's training video, I'm going to teach you a framework that will help you to be inspired and motivated and boost your confidence all throughout the upcoming year as you're working on your goals, your aspirations, your projects. And for that matter, I recommend that you follow this framework all throughout, not just the upcoming new year, anytime. We're going to take a look at several steps. First in the framework, I want to share with you an end-of-year reflection exercise in a very unique and very powerful way that could be a real game changer for you. At least that's my intention. And then second, we'll explore together some of the two components that are necessary to consider: persistence and letting go. That's right, you heard me. It sounds contradictory. Persist, hang in there, do whatever it takes, be committed, and yet there comes a point where you've got to let go. Well, we'll build on that and look more closely. Hi, my name is Ken Coscia. Many of you know me already. However, those of you who don't, I serve and have been serving for nearly 5 decades now as the most experienced lead instructor for the Silva Method and the guy who's responsible for developing our instructor team, certifying them. This is something that's been both an avocation and a vocation for me all throughout my life. I have a passion for it on a personal level, for my spiritual growth, and also professionally. It's been my great fortune to travel the world and work with a couple 100,000 people. And this is an exercise that is truly a game changer, that whether you're a Silva Method practitioner, a meditator, or whatever modality you're using for your self-improvement, for your personal, professional development, I want you to start applying this. So listen close. Make sure you take out some pencil and paper, take some good notes. You may want to pause the video, be in a quiet room, sit down comfortably, listen through it, take those notes, and then actually apply it. I know this is a time of the year, the end of the year, when we all look back on where we've been. May I remind you, though, not just now, the end of the year, though it's a great time to do it. Traditionally, we all do. Anytime. So let's get busy. Let's get started. First of all, the end of the year reflection exercise. What I want you to do is take out your calendar or whatever you have recorded that will help you to recognize, where you've been. So going back to last time you did this, perhaps last year, when you were setting goals for the new year. Or you could take a look at your daily, your monthly, quarterly. It's important, though, to go back to the beginning of the year, take a look, and acknowledge any of the wins. Maybe you wanted to take off 20 pounds and you only took off 2. That's still progress. Maybe you wanted to double your income, but you only increased it by 10%. That's still progress. So whether it be a huge bit of progress or a small, teeny tiny step, it's important to recognize, as Napoleon Hill, I believe, once defined, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So even those baby steps, celebrate them. Yes, whatever your spiritual persuasion is, thank God, thank your mother, thank the universe. Just have a genuine attitude of appreciation. And certainly for the big wins, jump up and down, high five yourself, high five a friend. Start with that. Then look at the mishaps, the mistakes, the errors in judgment, the poor decisions. We're all there. Nobody's perfect. Nowhere is it written in recorded history that you and I are perfect. Life is imperfect and life isn't fair. Too many people suffer from that anxiety of perfectionism. So acknowledge the shortcomings. Learn from them and ask, what can I learn from this? Very important question. What can I learn from this? And if you begin to observe patterns, repetitive patterns, then there's something to that, because we've all been conditioned. We've all been trained, if you will. And many of us, we have unrewarding patterns, behaviors that no longer serve our highest good, that are not a reflection of our best self. Note them. Take responsibility and then move on. avoid wallowing in it. We want to be defined by a vision of the future, of hope and optimism and our best self stepping forward in all that we do, while also learning from the past, learning from the mistakes, learning from the faux pas, learning from the errors in judgment, of course. So how do you do that? It's a process I've been teaching to my students, my coach clients, people that I mentor for a long time, and I can tell you, I get more feedback on this, and if you've heard me before, I always bring it up because it's a necessary ingredient. If you are a high performer, if you're building a business, if you want to enrich in a relationship, if you want to improve your health, your fitness, your character, your intellectual life, your spiritual life, your career, your finances, and all the different categories that make up who we are, it's essential that you acknowledge the shortcomings and forgive yourself. That's right. Literally give yourself permission to not be perfect. So yes, do this with pencil and paper, and especially do this later when we're done with the video with your eyelids closed. If you're a Silva Method practitioner, enter your level. If you're a meditator, go into a short, light meditation. Or just simply close your eyes, a few slow, deep breaths, and reflect on it, because you want to access your subconscious. You want to access that dimension of our consciousness that makes us who we are. You want to literally fire and wire new neural patterns. And that's how you do it. And all the science backs that up. And then remember, you need to repeat this. So what you're going to do is acknowledge the mistake. Oh, crap. Man, I really screwed up. Or maybe it was a small mistake. I give myself permission not to be perfect. Tell yourself, talk to yourself. Your self-talk. I did the best I knew how to do with what I had. Then, what can I learn from it? Then, as if you were a movie director or an actor, go back in your timeline to that event, to that time, even if it was 11, 12 months ago or 3 days ago, doesn't matter, as if you were there now. Acknowledging the mistake, cut, reframe it, and as if you're a movie director, just relive it, but as your best self. Relive it in the better way. Relive it in the more idealistic way. That's right. Involve all of your senses as best you can, as if you are there, and feel good. Elevate your emotions of yes. And then remember, you'll want to repeat this periodically over a space of at least 30 days to 90 days until it becomes permanent and it's just who you are. If you just do this, you'll notice a huge, I don't mean to sound like I'm exaggerating, I don't know how else to say it. It's that important, guys. So that's the first step, and you want to go all throughout the year, looking at your goals, your projects. If you're a journaler, then journal this down. Noting, checking off things you've reached, or maybe you only did 10, 50, 80% progress. Whatever it is, note it in writing, because that's a way to build your confidence. You can say, whoa, baby, yes, I got that, yes. Because often we take ourselves for granted. Often we don't even realize we have selective memory because we've been bombarded with so much negativity that we don't even recognize the progress we've made. So basically, you want to know where you were, how you started out. You applied some method. Remember, you need training, you need knowledge. It just doesn't happen like magic. You may need to do some more reading. You may need to attend a program, a seminar. You may need to hire a coach. You may need to just practice more with your skills. Then, let's consider, as you're doing this, you want to add this into the mix. Persistence and letting go or allowing. Just the other day, a friend of mine, John Butcher of Lifebook fame, you may have heard of the man, I heard him express this in a very interesting way that I'd like to echo his sentiment and build on it, because it's something I'm very familiar with and have used in my own life and have been teaching to my own clients. And in fact, it's really based on principles that go way back. It's not new. So persistence. You know, we've all heard this, you know this. Persistent till you succeed. Hang in there. Do your best. Be committed. And when you're truly committed to a project, an endeavor, when you're truly committed to creating a loving, lasting relationship, then failure is not an option, right? When you're committed to getting your children the best possible education, when you're committed to living a healthy, vibrant life, you do whatever it takes. That's persistence. However, persistence, I heard John say, is equal to intention. Now, why is this important? I want to help you take your goals beyond just goal setting and, that's important, yes. Have clearly defined goals. Be specific. It's not clear. It's wishy-washy to say, I want to be healthy. Really? How will you know you're healthy? What specifically has to happen? What do you need to specifically experience and feel and hear to know that you're healthy, vibrant, or prosperous, whatever it might be, your goal? Very important, yes. It's more important, though, that these goals are what? In alignment with your values, with your highest good, with what really rocks your boat, what really you live for, what your life vision is. So let's say that persistence is equivalent to intention. And intention isn't so much the target focus. So a goal is a target, where we laser-like focus in. But intention is more the big picture, the big why. Intention has more to do with your life vision, how you want to live. And it involves all the different aspects, categories of your life, from your health and fitness to intellectual, your spiritual life, your career, your finances, your relationships, your emotional life, your intuitive life. You get the idea? So you want to begin to be defined by vision of the future of your ideal self. This life vision. And when you're clear about your vision, I can tell you, in these nearly 50 years, what's helped me to tolerate the mistakes, to tolerate the idiosyncrasies of people I've had to work with, whether they be leaders, whether they be people I admire, is having a clear focus on the vision, the purpose, that sense of why I'm here, what it is, the contribution I want to make. And then everything fits into place. It is the surest way to stay motivated. It is the surest way to tolerate the inevitable challenges and struggles that we all face. You're not alone there. I honor you for your struggles. Honor yourself for your struggles. It's just the way it is in life. When you're anchored to your life vision, when it's a part of you and it's vibrant and alive, then you'll tolerate so much more. You'll be more willing to get the training you need, to do the things, to take the steps, and to be committed. The second part, though, is, you heard me say, let go or allow. So I heard John suggest that allow is equivalent to, if persistence is equivalent to intention, right? Then allowing is equivalent to letting go, of overcoming the resistance, well, let me explain. There's a saying, when you give it all up, you get it all back. And the concern here is that if we go into feelings of desperation, that's fear-based. You've heard the expression, desperate people do desperate things. So there is a delicate balance between being persistent and committed to your aspirations and goals and being adaptable. So adaptability is about allowing, is about letting go. And if you look over the year and your goals and you have your life vision, it's important to recognize things are changing so fast. Today, in today's world, every aspect of our lives, not just the technology sector, things that were relevant months ago are no longer working like they did. And not just in marketing or technology. In our relationships and our health, research is changing. What researchers didn't agree with last year, literally, this year, new research comes along and they're with us. I stand before you as a person. I'm a pioneer in the Silva Method. I'm one of the original instructors. Back in 1971, we were so sharply criticized by academics, by researchers, by medical doctors. And now those very people have written books. Some of those very people, the science is behind it because it's kind of caught up. So the point about this is that We need to be adaptable and recognize, have a goal. It's like sailing. You ever gone sailing? I remember I used to sail in Boston Harbor when I went to school, Boston University, and then I was teaching Silva in my early career in the Boston area primarily. I can remember it was a 1-hour sail, and we must have, the expression is tack or come about, had to readjust the sails maybe 10 or more times. No exaggeration. To get the wind just right so that we could reach our destination. We didn't want to put on the engine. And it's a lot of fun. And it was a lot of work at the same time. It's the same thing as we move through life. It's important that we're adaptable and that we recognize. So maybe you're stumped. You're not sure what to do. You may need more training. You may need to read a book. You may need to attend a seminar. You may need to hire whatever. You may need to ask for help. That's part of adaptability. To be willing and flexible enough to realize, okay, I got to backstep a little bit or adjust my sails or move in this direction, because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to get the same results, right? We've all heard the definition of insanity. When you keep doing the same thing over and over, but this time you think it's going to be different. I know, it's silly, right? Some have said there's a definition of insanity. So adaptability is like letting go. So now let's look at this a little bit deeper. It's about being flexible enough to change and let go of what no longer works. Letting go of the old worn-out ideas. Letting go of what no longer serves your highest good. Again, the expression, desperate people do desperate things. And if you've ever been in a state of desperation, and then when you look back and you're out of it, you realize you made some bad decisions. You made some decisions that were not consistent with who you are. You made some decisions that were not consistent with your authentic self or your life vision for that matter. And, we regret it. Desperation is fear-based, and it comes into its consciousness. It creates a consciousness of lack. And when we're in a state of lack, we get too hungry. And here's where the delicate balance. And it's not an attractive force that draws in. It pushes. I can tell you, even the energetics of it, let alone the science behind it and the psychology behind it, it pushes out. And we're not thinking clearly, and you're not going to access your intuition or your higher thinking functions. So what can you do to get out of that state? Make small baby steps at small goals. And as you make progress, note it, acknowledge it, live it, yes, celebrate it, journal it, review it, especially if you're feeling bad or in the dumps or not making progress on a big project you're working on. It's good to say, but man, I've been there, done that. Look at all these other projects where I've made progress. So you're looking at real evidence that boosts your confidence, that gets you into that state. So again, a delicate balance between being persistent, doing whatever it takes, being clear about your intention, and adaptability, being flexible enough to move along and make the adjustments as you need with them. So if you're into manifestation, or if you're into co-creation skills, or you just simply want to have a more fulfilling life, whether it be in your relationships, in your health, in your business, these are tools. This is a framework that you can use, and I want you to write here right now, and I'd love to hear from you. And may I ask, a solid, if you find in this of value, and share it with others. Can you think of somebody who could benefit from this, who maybe could benefit from this information? Share with them. It might be a game changer for them. And it helps me get the word out. It helps me share my message and people to discover what I have to offer. So it's kind of a win-win for all of us. Leave your comments below wherever you find this video. I'd love to hear from you. So again, this is Ken Coscia. I want to say thanks so much for listening. Thanks for honoring me and staying to the end. And if you'd like to get more training videos, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can go to my website. I have two. Silva Method of Connecticut. That's silvamethodct.com. If you like, you can opt in and you'll get our complimentary e-newsletters. On my blog page, there are lots of training videos. Or you can go to trustyourintuitionacademy.com and take a look at some of the online mini courses that I offer. Either way, have a good one. And remember, we live in a time where there's just been way too much anger, way too much complaining. Complaining and anger just produces more anger. It doesn't solve anything, and we feel like crap. And some people, oh, I'm just expressing myself. No, we're wallowing in it. And if you wallow in it, we don't realize is we're mentally rehearsing what we don't want. Be careful. Yes, there are things to be angry about. There are things to be concerned about. Note it. Then once you note it, acknowledge it, do something about it in whatever way you can. And let's start thinking, what are some solutions? What are some things we can do to help each other? Let's take a stand. It's time to let your voice be heard. So thanks again. And remember, you are far better than what you appear to be.